Welcome back to Owlchemist Tarot, serving tarot straight up. So this is the full extended version of the weekly reading for February 21st through the 27th. I pulled a couple cards on TikTok, so I'm going to go over those, and then I'm going to be pulling energy or pulling cards for the energy around money, career, and love. So the cards that came out were the Hangman, and then we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So I was talking about kind of, for some of you, you're really becoming aware of the people around you and or maybe an environment, a place that really isn't serving your highest and greatest good, okay? And you're starting to become more aware that you need more. So for many of you, this could certainly be work related where you're like, I need a new job, or this could have been where you've lost your job and now it's kind of you're taking a step back, or, in a position with the Hangman where you have to evaluate and kind of figure out what are my next steps. If it's relationship related, look at people around you. Have they been there when they needed you, or they only reach out to you when they need you, or something's going on in their life and it's this grandiose drama. But when you're going through something and you reach out, it's like crickets and they're not available, or they don't get it, or they're not willing to listen. So I think for many of you, you're starting to really pay attention to the energy. And again, the people, places, and things that are around you that are not serving your highest and greatest good. With the Five of Pentacles in reverse, it's kind of that feeling like the worst is over. Sometimes we get so stuck in our ways that we have to be pushed to change for us to see why the situation that we were in or the people we were around were really not good for our life, didn't add value. And sometimes we just get stuck because we don't want change, and we get really comfortable, and then we think that we can deal with it, and when really you're being pushed and pushed for change, and then you're forced to change, right? So let me go ahead and pull just one more card, because I think it's important we kind of just get this message. Well, this certainly could be relationship related for many of you. It could pull strongly toward relationships. And, the Lover's card in its core root meaning is having to make a big decision, a choice. Yes, the Lovers can mean a relationship, but it can mean a choice between you or them, or you or happiness, or, you have to make this shift. And again, it's not an easy one. The Hangman is asking you to take the time out and really figure things through. Don't rush into something else. Don't rush into another relationship. Don't rush into another job if you don't know what you want to do yet. Don't rush into moving because you think that that's going to fix things when you really have to work within. There could be a lot of reasons, but there is a big choice that many of you have either had to make or having to make now. And again, maybe many of you feel like you were forced into making this change, but ultimately it's going to serve your highest good. It's just having the time to really heal and work through things and seeing things from a different perspective, seeing the lesson and the blessing. And then you might have a little bit more willingness to start making decisions. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull a card for money, career, and then love, and just see where things go, okay? Oops. Alrighty. I'm just going to be pulling just one more card to kind of get a feel. Okay. Interesting enough, in the money zone, I think for some of you, you're really taking, so first and foremost, you don't have to spend money to have a good time. And I know a lot of you are like, no. So money, what I'm saying is it depends on, it's not so much the place, it's the people, right? And if you feel like if you always have to be footing the bill, or having to spend a ton of money around people that you're supposed to be having fun with, evaluate that, because sometimes you don't have to go to brunch every weekend. You don't have to pay a ton of money to go to dinner or go get drinks. Sometimes it can be really simple, and it doesn't have to be so complicated or so expensive. And I think many of you are starting to take a step back and saying, I don't need to do this all the time, or I don't need to spend as much money to have fun and celebrate and, you know, get together with friends. Like, it can be really genuine and authentic, and it doesn't have to be expensive, because the people that care about you the most are not going to put you in that position. And I feel like for a lot of you, you're taking a step back and evaluating, you know, and again, this hanged man energy, kind of evaluating the relationships in your life. And, you know, maybe even it's a workplace thing where you feel like you always are having to like go out to eat or to do things or to be seen, you know, to spend money to be seen. And it's starting to become expensive, and it's starting to become, you know, it's like, why am I doing this? What am I getting out of it? That message is going to be probably specific only to a handful of you, but there's a lot of different ways that you can experience happiness and excitement and being around people that care about you without having to spend a ton. So don't put that burden on yourself. Like, really look at your relationships and see who's there for you, you know, just doing something easy, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. In the career zone, you know, it's interesting because we have the star card in reverse. This is actually a really positive card. It's not negative per se. The star card, it's like I feel like in your career, you're still hanging and wishing and hoping that things are going to shift and change in the future. And if you just stick it out, if you just hang in there, things are going to get better. At least that's maybe what you're being told. Here's what I'm going to tell you, kind of going again back to that hangman energy. Really take a step back and ask yourself if you see yourself at that job in the same place in the next year or 2, 5 years. You can really maybe love your job and what you do for a living, but the company may not be as positive for you in the long run. It could be a very toxic environment, and that you're not able to grow and to build. And you also have this Queen of Pentacles where it's like, you know, maybe you're really good at what you do, you get paid well, you know, but is it fulfilling? And you have because at the end of the day, your skills will take you can go anywhere. Most of you can go anywhere, right? Or you've made yourself, or you're marketable. The Queen of Pentacles likes stability, likes having a place where it's comfortable, where there's not a constant amount of change, because the Queen of Pentacles represents that earth energy. Earth energy doesn't like this huge fluctuation of change. And kind of thinking about the future can be a little daunting, right? And what's going to happen in this. But with the star card, which represents Aquarius, it's all about the future. You need to start thinking about your future and how you see yourself. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? And these don't have to be hard set goals, but you know, at some of you are probably at a point in your career where you know what you don't want to do. So work off of that. But some of you really need to ask yourself, do you see yourself at your place of work now, if it's going to make sense for you in the next 5 years, 2 years? Think about what you really want, and then start to put a path, or put things in motion to get you on the path so you can meet that. Okay. In regards to relationships, and again, I pulled that Lover's card in reverse, right? So a big choice for some of you. And a lot of it is not going back to old ways of thinking or believing or being in toxic relationships or places. We got the 8 of Cups, walking away. And then we also got the 4 of Swords. So for some of you, this has been, whether you've already walked away, emotionally cut the ties, or you need to, it's going to differ for every single one of you. This hangman position is asking you to really take a step back and evaluate what you want out of a relationship and why this relationship didn't work out. A lot of people will get really hung up on wanting to get back together with an ex. Not all of you, and some of you are like, oh no, that's not me. But there are people out there who just like want to get back together with that one person, but you have to ask yourself, why? Are you only remembering the good times? Do you remember why it didn't work out? You know, and again, that person may not be their best version of themselves to be in a relationship with you. Why would you settle for second? Okay. The 8 of Cups is telling you to emotionally disconnect. This is not an easy decision, but ultimately you're moving into that 9 of Cups, that happiness. So you have to walk away in order to see what you do want and what is actually going to make you happy. You need to rest. The 4 of Swords, I always think that these cards kind of are nicely they work, the energy wise works really nicely together, because, you know, this is telling you to not do anything, to not make a decision. You need to see things. You need to kind of take that time mentally, energetically, even physically, to not do anything. Think about it, feel it, contemplate. And the Four of Swords is telling you to rest, to work on yourself, to focus on your health, your mental health, your emotional health. Take the time out and really work through things. And even if you've been single for a while and you've walked away, so this is not something that's just happened, there could be things that still trigger you that you need to start to look into. And you'll always hear me on this channel, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. I always tell people, if you've been drawn to talk to a professional therapist, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So again, this is the time to really focus and be centered and figure things out before you leap into anything else. Because if you don't know who you are and what you want, and if you've not healed old wounds and you're emotionally tied to someone still, you are going to jump into a relationship that is not going to be fulfilling. Okay? So this is kind of heavy energy this week. But just like anything, you can work through it, okay? I feel like for many of you, this is a time to be independent. Take time for yourself. You might need or want or be drawn to be by yourself more this week, just be kind of on your own, doing your own thing. I would say this is a week to look at facts, you know? Not to say you should discredit emotion. You shouldn't. That's a part of it, and you feel how you feel, and they're valid. But look at the facts. Have people showed up? Have they been consistent? Are you seen? Are you valued? Ask yourself those questions before you leap and jump into something else. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the comments, the engagement, the likes, the follows, all that was wonderful. And again, if you don't follow me on TikTok and Instagram, do go there because I post there quite a bit. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk soon.